Hello. We're live. Are we live? If this is working, I'm amazed. Firstly, can you hear me? We've got people in the chat. People are coming in. Just say yes quickly, please. Please tell me that you can hear me. I'm genuinely worried that using this, I'll explain what the setup is in a minute. You can hear me, but I'm genuinely worried that introducing this into a live stream situation is going to cause absolute havoc, which would be a right laugh for you lot, but for me, not so much. Yes, yes, yes. Yep. Fun fact, you're hearing the audio through my MacBook Pro. So this is through the M3 Max MacBook Pro, for reasons I won't bore you with. But is it loud and clear and nice and clear and all the rest of it? That's all I need to know to begin with. I can tell that you can see me because I can see myself and I can see how ridiculous I look. There's nothing on the front of Vision Pro at the minute, is there? You can't see. Now, let's get this out of the way straight away. The eyes thing, the minion eyes stuff, you won't see them, unfortunately, in this, because for that to happen, someone has to come into the room, and I'm here on my own, I'm afraid. So you're not going to see my ridiculous eyes, but you can see them on the thumbnail for this video. Thanks for joining me, guys. This was a bit of a last-minute decision to do this live stream. I just suddenly thought, why not just get on this? Why not do a live stream wearing Vision Pro and just taking your questions? Because, well, for two reasons. One, I want to see how long I can sit here wearing this, because I have mentioned in my first video that the comfort factor just isn't really there. Although it's getting a bit better. It's getting a little bit more comfortable the more I wear it. As you can see, I'm not wearing let me get it out. I'm not wearing the solo knit thing, which looks better, and it's the only thing that you see in any of Apple's marketing material for Vision Pro. But this just doesn't work for me, and I get the impression it doesn't work for anyone, but particularly myself. So I am wearing the dual band thing. So that's one thing I'm fascinated about in terms of, can I keep this in my head for however long we're on this live stream? And secondly, I'm just fascinated to hear your questions. Some people have noticed already that the best way to put a question into the chat is to put a queue beforehand. So just so I can pick them out, because I'm having to look. One problem I've noticed immediately with this is that as I talk, the Vision Pro goggles are slightly moving, because obviously my cheek is, as I'm talking, my cheek is moving up and down. The problem with that is that it's making the entire image slightly shaky, which means reading the comments is going to be a challenge. I hope you're enjoying this, by the way. This is the most nerve-wracking live stream I've done, purely because I'm wearing this, for all these reasons. It's going to be all over the place as well, guys, but I do want to turn it to you. I want you to just hit me with questions about this, because that was where I was going with this. The other thing that I find fascinating about Vision Pro is just the questioning that I'm getting on that first video. And I had a feeling this would be the case. This isn't a smartphone. This isn't me reviewing the latest iPhone or another Android phone or a MacBook or an iPad. This is something that is completely new from Apple, and it's that again, them putting a stake in the ground and saying, in the future, you lot are going to be using something like this. You're going to be looking through, using your eyes to look through something that shows you Vision OS, and it's called spatial computing, and that's what's going to happen. So this is fascinating, I think, and the comments and the questions I've been getting since I published that video on Saturday are fascinating. There's so many things appearing here already, questions. Let's dive in, guys. Hello, lots of lovely hellos, lots of very familiar names in here as well. Actually quite nice, Rob, just as a little aside, he is my podcast co-host. If you listen to or now watch 8 or 16, actually quite nice, Rob is Rob. And you can see what he looks like now if you watch it on the YouTube channel. I've got to stop talking for a second just to settle the display. This is a problem. This is immediately a problem which I haven't really experienced, because when I've been using Vision Pro, I've just been sat there on my own, mouth closed. And when I close my mouth, everything's fine. It's when I start talking, I'm getting this. The whole thing's doing this. I hope this doesn't give me motion sickness. Although again, what a great live stream for you guys. Looking forward to this. I'm beginning to think I'm not looking forward to this, if I'm totally honest. Right, let's have a look. Questions. If I miss questions, I'm really sorry. Right. Johan, I've seen loads of content and watching videos, etc. on the device, but what's it like to actually work on? What's it like to work on? So I've mainly worked on it. That's pretty much all I've done. I have consumed some content just to test it. I've sat in an IMAX theatre, which is weird. I've used Disney Plus just to kind of check it out and see what the image quality is like. But in terms of using this, and bearing in mind I've only had Vision Pro since last Thursday, so I've not even had it a week yet. I've only had it a few days. But my main use case of this so far has been to work and principally use it attached to my MacBook. So to give you an idea of what I'm doing at the moment, in front of me that you can't see, I've got my MacBook Pro. That's running this live stream. It's connected to this camera in front of me. But I've put Vision Pro on, obviously, as you can see. And when you put Vision Pro on and you have a MacBook in front of you, as long as it's on the same iCloud account and it's got Bluetooth on, it's on the same Wi-Fi network, you get a little thing appear above the MacBook display that says connect. You click connect and then it takes the display off the MacBook and just places it into Vision OS. And then you can move it around, you can resize it. If you want, you can walk around the back of it. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can do that. So I'm looking at I'm looking at the live stream of this now through Vision Pro on my MacBook Pro screen, but it's not on my MacBook Pro anymore. It's in Vision OS, and I can use my little. I know you can't see this, but I can use it. We've all seen this stuff. You'll see it in my video. I can resize the window like that. That didn't work. Brilliant. There we go. I can resize the window. I can move you guys further away just by looking for the control, and there we go. So. And this is pretty much how, coming back to Johan's question, this is pretty much how I've been using Vision Pro since I got it. And it's for me, it's the main use case, really. I like kind of shutting myself away and writing, for instance. So the ability to do this and then immerse myself in, a kind of desert landscape, or that lake vista that they've put into this as well, or the moon if I want to, is genuinely, I found it pretty interesting for productivity. I say interesting rather than very useful because I still think finding the use case for this thing is tricky. And I haven't answered the question yet in terms of, is that will that way of working stick? Or is it just new toy syndrome? I have no idea. I've only had it a few days. But in terms of working on it at the moment, Johan, I'm enjoying it. But like I say, I don't know if that's just me getting this thing for real. I've lost my mouse pointer. Brilliant. Where's the mouse pointer gone? Oh, this is great, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. My mouse pointer has completely vanished. This is another point. So when you have your Vision Pro attached to your MacBook, you can share the keyboard and the mouse between Vision OS and your Mac. And I think what's happened, this happened last time, I think this is a bug. I can kind of see the mouse pointer, but it's kind of coming and going. Oh no, this is terrible. Okay, how do I get back to this? So if I press, I appreciate again you can't see this. Where's my mouse? Oh, was this a good idea doing this? Don't leave, please. Problem is, if I haven't got my mouse, I can't go through the comments. Oh no. If Apple's watching this, hang on. No. Can I? No, I've still lost my mouse. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect. Let's do that. Okay, I've got my mouse pointer back on here. So I'm now looking through Vision Pro at my MacBook. This is the second problem with it. Or is this the second? It's another problem with it, that the MacBook display through these cameras is dreadful. It's barely legible. I really have to squint to see it properly. So that doesn't work. So let's connect again to the MacBook, and all being well, I'll have it back, have my mouse pointer back. Let's see. Yes, it's back. We're cooking on gas now. Right, let's go back. Here we go. Right, thank you, Johan, for your question. How many people have we got left? Oh, people have joined. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting about 3 people to be left after this absolute abomination. Let's come back down here. Right, let's get back to some of your questions. I'll try not to move the mouse too far. Da, da, da. Where are we? Where is Mark? I promise it's me. Some interesting names on here. This is a good question from Rob. Have you scratched it yet? No. Well, I don't think I've scratched it. I've not checked it for that. That's a really good question, though, because it's very difficult to pick up. I think a few people have mentioned this, that Apple gives you this is immediately worrying. So Apple, in this very nice Vision Pro manual that you get with Vision Pro, lots of very nice photos in here and use cases, etc. There's a page, I think, dedicated to how to pick it up. Now, I'm not aware of any other Apple product, or actually any tech product I've reviewed in the last 4 years, that has a specific section of the manual telling you how to pick it up. We know how to pick up iPhones, etc. You can genuinely pick this up wrong. And if you pick it up wrong, you probably will drop it and scratch it. Because what happens, okay, I won't take it off, but what happens is this light shield part here magnetizes onto the front, onto this, the main Vision Pro device, whatever you want to call it, unit. And it feels very natural to pick it up by this. If you do that, it just comes off, because the weight of this literally just gets rid of that magnetism, however you explain it. I watched the tech chap do his unboxing, and he nearly did the same thing. He picked it up by this, and the front just came off, and he caught it just in time. So at the moment, I shouldn't tempt fate, and I touch wood, I haven't dropped it, and therefore I don't think I've scratched it. I hope. Another question from Rob. Will I be ordering the $200 shell suit for it? No. That is the case that Apple has made for this, which is, for some reason, creased. I know this has got that type of material has a name. I'm not sure. I'm not cool enough to know what it is. But if you haven't seen it yet, just Google the Vision Pro official case, and it's this fairly big thing that is just horrendously. It looks like it needs a good iron, basically. But no, not for $200. I have a much cheaper version that I've been using, which is this. What was the brand? I don't know. Not sponsored anyway, but this great big case from Amazon, which was about £20, $20, and it does the job fine. Smells a bit strange, but apart from that, it's fine. Wow, okay. Does it replace your TV? No. It can replace your TV for a bit, and like I say, I need to spend more time in terms of trying it out with services like Disney Plus, just to get an idea of what it's like. But and it does give you this massive display, this massive screen that is probably big. It's certainly bigger than my TV at home. But you can only watch it in a solitary fashion. I can't sit there with my girlfriend and have her experience the same thing. I'm sat there wearing this on the settee, and she's sat next to me watching Love Island. It's definitely that way around, by the way. But yeah, it's a very solitary experience. So you do get this amazing big display that you can move around and stick to the wall and stick to the ceiling, and etc. But it's very solitary. So I don't think it, unless you live on your own, maybe. And you don't, you want to have a very minimalist living room, I don't think it can replace your TV at the moment. Not entirely sure why I'm here, as I'm watching on Vision Pro. Oh, wow. That's weird, isn't it? We might break the internet, Zach. So you've got Vision Pro on, and you're watching this while I'm sitting here broadcasting wearing Vision Pro. That's mind-bending. What are we both seeing? What's... Oh, wow. This is the future, isn't it? Is it? I don't know. Is it heavy compared to the Quest 3? Right, so straight away, I'm assuming I'm going to get a lot of questions about the Quest 3. I've never used it, so I cannot compare it to that, I'm afraid. I don't want to suggest anything because I genuinely haven't tried it. I think I need to get one, though. I think the time potentially has come. What's this? I saw the shell, my 50 cents. I saw the shell on a plane last week, and I have to admit it looks smaller than from the videos. So you saw someone on the plane wearing this. I am on a flight at the weekend. I'm flying to Barcelona for the Mobile World Congress, and I'm slightly tempted to take it with me. The only reason I'm not possibly going to take it with me is because of just how much space it's going to take up. I'm not taking much luggage, and I'd have to not take any clothes basically to fit this in. So I'm in two minds about that. But in terms of it being smaller, It looks quite big on this feed, but I think when I've seen comparisons between some of the the MetaQuest and some other headsets, the PSVR and a few others, and it does appear to be smaller than a lot of them, but it looks very big on these. I mean, this is a wide angle lens, so it's a little bit distorted, but it's not as big as you possibly think it is. I thought it would be bigger, to be fair. Show us the eyes. Yeah, I can't do it, I'm afraid. So if you may have missed this earlier, that the weird eyes only appear when someone physically walks into the room, and there's no one to do that here. I'm in the studio on my own, so unless I go and knock on the door and get one of the neighbours to come in, that'd be weird. Be funny for you, but it would be weird. You won't see them, I'm afraid. What I will say about these eyes is that the thumbnail for this live stream, and also we used the same image for the video on Saturday, it took ages to get that. Ages. And I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. So my girlfriend came to the studio, because I rang her and said, I need to do this thumbnail, but I've just realised I can't do it unless you're here, because I can't see these weird eyes, and I want to capture them. So she came over, and I sat here. We had the camera in front of me, and I said to her, just stand just off camera and I'll look at you, and then hopefully the eyes will appear and we'll snap it and we'll be done. We spent half an hour trying to get a decent photo of them, and I later learned that the reason for that is because the actual the resolution of this thing, the front display, and the thing there's a certain film it has on it to make it look like it's got depth, results in a very low resolution and very dark display. Those images of it, I think there are some in here. You've probably all seen them of someone wearing Vision Pro, and you can very clearly see her eyes. So where is it? It's in here somewhere. That image there must be doctored. That it looks nothing like that, unless it's just my eyes. But like I said, I've heard other people say the same thing, which is that you can barely see them. It's a really dark display. So weirdly, one of the main differentiators that Apple is going for with this, which is to have this kind of pass-through thing where you're disconnected from society, but when someone walks into the room, they can see your eyes, even though they're not actually your eyes. It's a digital representation of you. It doesn't work very well. It doesn't actually work very well at all. So there you go. You can't see my eyes, I'm afraid. Do you think Vision Pro will change the world of work, and if so, quickly? For which professional groups will it be indispensable productivity gain? I don't think this will change the world of work quickly at all. I think future iterations of this have got a very good chance of doing so, but it has to get smaller and a bit easier to manage and wear. Now, VR's been used in industry for a long time. I've not used it myself, so I can't comment from first-hand experience, but I do know that lots of industries have been using VR for quite a while, for design and all sorts, research and all that, and training and all those sort of things. So this is entering a market that exists already. Apple does that quite often. I don't know if that's the market Apple is going for. Having said that, there's an app on here which is called Jig, which basically allows you to place what are called jigs in your room, in your spatial area. So last night, for instance, I placed a Alfa Romeo F1 car, life-sized, in our front room, and that was crazy. I could walk up to it, take panels off it, look at the engine, peer into the driver's seat, and look at the steering wheel. There was a baby monitor thing which is being used to train nurses, etc. That I placed that in our front room as well and walked around it, and I can kind of see why that would be useful to certain industries, but I don't think Vision Pro itself is going to change those industries very quickly. And again, I don't know if that's one of Apple's main goals with this. I'm not sure what their main goal at the moment is. I think their ultimate goal is for this to become those. But boy, are we a long way from that being reality, in my opinion. Paul, is this augmented reality but the next step up? They call it mixed reality, don't they? I think that's Apple's official term for it, so we have to go by that, really. It's a mixture of AR and VR, really. That's what it is. The thing that I mentioned a moment ago of placing the F1 car in my living room, that you can do that you know, we've had that on iPhones for a while now. You can place things in your environment and, you know, use all the AI or the AR stuff on the iPhone to view it in that space. This just gives you a much more realistic view of it because you're looking at it through both your eyes with this very, you know, immersive experience. But yeah, I think it's, well, they're calling it mixed reality. It's spatial computing, isn't it? Have you tried collaborating with someone using Vision Pro and an app like Notes or Freeform? Excuse me, I'm especially interested in how using an iPad that might update the app using iCloud. Not yet, no. So Freeform is on here. I've never used Freeform, by the way. Like everyone, I went into it when they first launched it and very quickly got bored. Notes, again, Notes is on here. I've got all my iCloud notes synced, but I haven't done anything collaborative with it. And it's early days, to be fair, Matthew, so I will try that at some stage if I can find a willing participant. Lots of questions, guys. Thanks for all these. Right, this is a good question. Are you able to see clearly enough without the lenses? So I think I mentioned this on my unboxing video. I do wear glasses, as you can see, but my eyesight isn't that bad. It's just I wear these for screen use. I can actually get away with not wearing them quite often, but over the years I've got used to wearing them, which probably isn't a good thing, I'm sure. But so I didn't get the lenses, but the main reason I didn't get the lenses is because to get them I would have had to fly over to America and have is it an optometrist? Is that what you guys call it? Anyone who's from the States? We call them opticians over here. But I'd have had to go over to the States basically to get a prescription that Apple would accept. That would significantly increase the cost of making these videos, so I didn't do that. I risked it. And to be completely honest, I can tell. I think when this is launched in the UK, I will get the inserts, definitely. It's not unworkable at all. It's not uncomfortable either, but there's, you know, if you've got slightly bad eyesight like me and something just isn't quite right, it's a bit like that. So clearly, you know, that thing is there for a reason. But like I say, I can work with it for now. Any other question we've got here? Louise, how do you manage multiple applications? How do you open them up and then manage them all? Really simple. So so at the moment I've got this window, this Mac display window as a window in Vision OS. I know you can't see this, which is a bit annoying, but I can take this and move it over there, and then press the digital crown up here, which then gives me my apps. I can open Notes, for instance, like that. That opens Notes, which is now in front of me. I've now put Notes over there. I've got you guys over here, but I can bring you back over here. I can then resize them. I can just look at Notes, and then it starts. You know, if I start typing, it will type in Notes. Yeah, it's multi-window. It's similar. It looks similar to multitasking on the iPad, but it works, and it's completely. You can place these windows anywhere, and you can make them pretty much any size you want. There's no, unlike the iPad, which I think still snaps to grids and stuff. There's none of that. You can literally just place them literally anywhere in the space. So it's very free in terms of I'm just bringing you guys a bit closer. It's very freeing in terms of kind of multiple application management, if you like. The one thing you can't do is snap two windows together. So if you've got a Safari window over here, and let's say your Notes app over here, and you want to do some referencing, you have to very kind of specifically place them where you want them. It would be nice to have a bit of snapping going on, so you can say, create a dual screen, a dual window thing automatically for me. At the moment, you can't do that. Equally, and a few people have asked this question, when it comes to the Mac, you can only have one Mac window. So the Mac display just becomes one window in Vision OS. You can't then say, okay, take this other Mac app and create a second Mac display. You can't do that. I don't know why. I'm not, whether or not that might be a hardware limitation, possibly. I don't know. It can't be a limitation because of PCIe lanes and stuff like that, because that doesn't exist in this. It's, you know, in theory, this has an M2 processor in it. It should be able to do that sort of stuff. So who knows? But that's one thing which is a bit of a shame. I would love to take my Mac display and have two separate windows running from it, but you can't do that at the moment. Maybe they'll add that. In terms of comfort, guys, where are we? 24 minutes in. I can feel it on my cheekbones here. It's resting not uncomfortably, it's just there. It's a heavy presence that's there. When I first tried this on, you'll have seen this hopefully in the unboxing video, I was very surprised by how uncomfortable it was straight away, particularly on my nose. I found it really uncomfortable on my nose. That's kind of gone now. I've kind of got it into a position where my nose isn't too badly affected by it. I think the reason for that is because I've moved the strap up slightly towards the crown of my head, which is, I think so I had an email from someone. If you're on this live stream, by the way, I can't remember who it was who emailed me, but someone emailed me and said, try moving the strap up a little bit. And lo and behold, it does feel a bit better. But yeah, 24 minutes in, it's okay. The biggest problem I've got with this is talking. Again, I don't know if I've not watched many Vision Pro videos. I mentioned this on Saturday that I purposefully did not watch other reviews because I didn't want to be influenced by other people's thoughts on it. So I've not watched many of them. I'd love to know if anyone has mentioned this as well, that when you start talking, everything starts doing this a little bit because of the way it rests on your cheek, I think. And it's not too bad for general looking around, but when it comes to reading text, it makes it tricky. It really does. That's a bit of an issue, isn't it? Particularly if you're doing a FaceTime call or something. Have I experienced... I've lost my mouse again. The mouse is gone, guys. Why does the mouse keep going? I'm going to have to reconnect, aren't I? Now I think this kind of illustrates that Vision Pro is very beta-ish. Vision OS possibly is very, very beta-like. When you start, this is the first time really that I've used it for something pretty serious. I've been writing and stuff on it, which is fine. If something goes wrong with that, it's no big deal. I can just brush it off and start again. I'm live on YouTube now. I'm really putting this to task now. I'm relying on this to see your comments, to make sure this is still working. This is a big deal. If I keep losing my mouse pointer, that looks pretty bad. And that happened again then. So. Interesting. Have I experienced any VR sickness yet? Not yet. Maybe I will now because of this thing that's going on. But no, I haven't, to be fair. I felt a little bit queasy when I used PSVR. That made me feel a little bit strange. But I haven't experienced that yet with Vision Pro. Again, early days. Loads of people getting involved here, guys. Thank you for joining me. I didn't know how many people would be joining me tonight, but clearly there's some interest in this thing, isn't there? Can you share your view from the Vision Pro like you would share the Mac screen? You can, from what I've not tried it, but from what I understand, I can beam this to an iPad, I think, or the other way around. But there's no way on this live stream that I'm aware of anyway at the moment that I could show you what I'm looking at. If I do another live stream based on Vision Pro, I'll look into that beforehand, but I didn't have time today, but I don't think you can. Have you tried streaming a game on a Mac device to your Vision Pro? What was the frame rate like? No, I haven't, I'm afraid. So I'm not much of a gamer these days. Used to be, but I'm not these days. I want to try gaming on this, but I'll probably try native gaming, native apps that have been written for Vision OS. But that's not... I'm sure someone will do that, Louise, and probably won't be me. That's the only thing. Louise got another question here, which is important. What's the pass-through like? Any graininess? Loads of graininess. My studio, in fairness, is quite a dark environment, so it's a good test for it. I've just suddenly thought as well, guys. The other thing that I'm doing is I've not plugged this in. So on the power, this is the battery, which is surprisingly heavy. You can, if you want to, plug it into power, mains power, and just use it all day if you're that way inclined. If you don't do that, you get about 2 hours, 2.5 hours in theory of battery life. So I thought for this live stream, I wouldn't plug it in and just risk to see how long it lasts. Not that I'm going to be here for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, but I wouldn't put you through that. So we're at 88% now. So this was at 100% at the start of this live stream. We are now 30 minutes in roughly, and 88% remaining. That's interesting. Going back to this question, so very dark room in here, relatively speaking, although it probably mirrors a lot of living rooms, to be fair. And what happens, I think, is that when the room is dark, I think the way they're getting around that is just by cranking up the ISO. So if anyone's used a DSLR camera or any kind of camera for filming or for taking photos, if you want to get over the fact that you don't have enough light in the room, but you don't want to faff around, you don't want to mess around with the your aperture or your shutter speed, etc. You just want to make the image brighter. You can crank up the ISO, which is the sensitivity. It's the sensitivity of the sensor to the light, which does make the room brighter. But the trade-off with that is graininess, not what we call noise, and you can immediately see that. It's the first thing I spotted when I put this on, and it showed me the room, was the little speckles of grain throughout the entire image. They're there, they are still there in in brightly lit rooms. So I've noticed. I was downstairs this morning, and it's a very bright room downstairs. There's very big windows, lots of natural light coming in, and it was still grainy. So I don't know what the specs are of the cameras on the front of this. I'm sure Apple won't tell us, but I get the impression they're not that high. It's not an amazing image, I'll be totally honest. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. It's certainly nothing like obviously this is always the case, it's nothing like what you see in those Apple marketing videos of it. Stacey, this is gold. Is it really? I mean, you don't have to be nice to me, honestly. If this is dreadful, be honest. People are staying on, though, and the number keeps going up, which is amazing. Quick, we can say what we want and he won't see. You probably can get away with that. Honestly, it's quite difficult to read this as I'm talking. Really is quite difficult. Federico Vitici and John, I can never pronounce his surname, both have said there is a bug with the mouse pointer, just like you experienced. It's definitely a bug. I've had this. I've updated this to the latest version of Vision OS as well, and it's made no difference, clearly, because I'm being very careful with this mouse pointer now. The fact that you can share the mouse pointer and the keyboard from your MacBook with Vision OS. So it's very similar. If you've used that same thing where you can do, if you've got two Macs or a Mac and an iPad and you can move your mouse pointer across and it appears on the other device, it's very similar to that, but it's very buggy, very buggy, which is annoying. Very quickly, something else that I haven't seen many other reviewers of the very few videos that I've watched talk about is a huge problem for me. I talk about this in my video on Wednesday that's coming on Wednesday. Massive problem, and I don't know how to get around it really, which is it involves this, coffee. I drink coffee because I love coffee, and you can't drink a mug of coffee wearing Vision Pro, because what happens, you put it to your mouth like we all do, and then that didn't work too bad, but normally what happens is the rim, I'm being very gentle with it, I don't want to smash this ceramic mug against my Vision Pro, but what happens, it hits the bottom. So what you have to do is either do this thing, I won't do it with that because it's got coffee in it, but you have to do this thing where you kind of put the mug against your chin and kind of move backwards like that to tip some of it down your throat, or momentarily lift up your Vision Pro and drink, and it's ridiculous. And that is a big issue because I drink coffee and lots of people drink coffee, and you can't drink coffee with this unless, as someone said to me today, you use a straw. If it's cold coffee, that makes sense. If it's hot coffee, no, that's just weird. And why should I, just because I'm wearing Vision Pro? That's a problem. Did they test that? I refuse to believe how much R&D and time went into this thing, that no one at any point said, Tim, mate, we can't drink coffee with Vision Pro. Did no one say that in any Vision Pro meetings? Or did they say it and then get chucked out? I have no idea. It's really, as you can tell, really annoying. Oh dear, right. Rob, is your mouse pointer over on another Mac or iPad via universal control? It's not. Now, this happens quite a lot in this room because I've got 8,000 Macs. I do lose my mouse pointer a lot, and it tends to be on a Mac behind me somewhere, and it takes me days to find it again. But no, this is definitely a bug. This is 100% a bug. I guess this answers the how buggy is it question. It does, and I think it does feel very beta-like, Vision OS. It works really well for a bit, and then it does something weird, and you think, well, That doesn't normally happen with Apple stuff. You know, most of their software releases, generally speaking, shouldn't say that, are generally quite good. This does feel beta-ish. Ooh, here's one. Do you think Steve Jobs would like the Vision Pro? I don't like getting involved in these kind of things because it's that classic, oh, if Steve Jobs was here, he wouldn't have allowed this. I don't agree with that kind of stuff because who knows what he would have allowed. We don't know. He may have been behind this. You know, before he unfortunately left this world, he may have had a significant say in what this was going to be like. We don't know. But there are elements of it that I think, would he have been happy with this? Would he have been happy? I'm getting involved now, aren't I? Would he have been happy with this? I'm not convinced. Would he have been happy with some of the stuff they've put in here that clearly isn't quite ready yet? I was listening to MKBHD on his podcast talk about his thoughts on Vision Pro today, and I think he made the point that there's a lot of things in Vision Pro that just shouldn't be there yet because they're not ready. And if you look back to the iPhone, they just didn't put that stuff in. They didn't put in copy and paste. They didn't put in custom wallpapers. They didn't put Flash onto the device to begin with, clearly because they didn't feel it was ready for the public. They seem to have done that with this. They seem to have put things in like this mouse pointer sharing, which keeps breaking, that is not ready for public consumption. So I think, I don't know. It's a very hard thing to answer, but there are just certain elements of this that you think, would this have made it through past his door? I don't know if that would be the case. What is the first thing you would like Apple to change/update? That's a really, really good question. The first thing I'd like them to change/update is something I haven't mentioned yet, actually, which, again, I can't show you because it's impossible, but it's the reflectiveness, if that's the right word, the reflections that you get on the glass inside this, basically. So the two eyepieces that you look through are very reflective. I've noticed this the most when I was testing out the IMAX app last night. Basically, that you kind of sat in this massive make-believe IMAX theatre, which looks very realistic, and you have this massive IMAX display in front of you, obviously. But what I found was that all I could really see was these horrible reflections. I'm not sure where they're coming from, but there's reflections on the glass that you can see. And the light seal is doing its job. There's no gaps anywhere, and I can see them now. They're still there. Little reflections that keep appearing. And if you look at the list of reasons for all these people returning Vision Pro, that is one of the reasons cited, which is these reflections that you can see. I'd like them to change that immediately because it does spoil the experience occasionally. You don't always notice it, but when you do, you think, that kind of reveals that I am just looking through two pieces of glass. It spoils the illusion. That's the first thing I'd like them to change, which might sound strange, but yeah, that's the first thing. And then the weight, then the price, and all the other stuff, and the bugs. You're picking it up wrong. You can genuinely pick it up wrong. You can't, and you can hold it wrong actually as well. They do say hold it via the frame of the device. Don't hold it by, whatever you do, don't hold it by this. Pain of death. But yeah, you can genuinely pick it up wrong. Where are we? Questions. Any eye strain after continuous use? Not that I've noticed, but again, maybe I haven't been using it long enough to experience that. You do feel a bit weird afterwards. I have a feeling after this session I'm going to feel really strange, and I won't drive home straight away, put it that way. But not really eye strain. Everything just looks a bit odd afterwards for a while, and then your normal kind of vision returns. Again, this might be because I'm not a VR veteran. I've got involved in VR to a tiny degree, so I'm not used to this stuff. But yeah, eye strain, not uncomfortably so. Things are just a bit strange afterwards. Watching a movie on Vision Pro, what is the quality like, video and sound? Good question. So video quality is amazing. The displays in here, these two 4K micro OLED displays, which is I think what they are incredible, incredibly sharp. I can't compare them against every VR set ever made because I haven't used them all, but from what I can see, it's very, very sharp. Sound wise, so the sound comes out of these speakers here. These are speaker units. These are very similar to open ear earbuds. I've reviewed a few of those over the last few months. I'm a big fan of those earbuds. They're great for working out, and you can hear what's going on perfectly because they've got the best transparency mode ever because they don't fill up your ear canal. These are the same, but they sit much higher. So a pair of open ear earbuds do sit within your ear, generally speaking. These sit miles above. You can see how far above it is, but the audio quality is amazing. And this is what Apple is very good at these days. That their audio team does amazing things with audio, whether it be on AirPods Pro, AirPods Max to a degree, or MacBook speakers. They are incredibly skilled at what they do with this stuff. So they do make these small things sound very good. There's barely any bass. You're not going to get that because physics. But in terms of clarity, the spatial audio stuff is amazing. If you immerse yourself in the environments that they give you, you can hear birds tweeting above your head. The sound is impressive. It is genuinely impressive. Excuse me. However, I'd personally say, look, if you want the best sound, stick a pair of AirPods in because they obviously integrate with these perfectly. You can attach any Bluetooth headphones as well if you want to, but that's how you're going to get the best. Excuse me, just adjust my battery cable. That's how you get the best audio, but it is impressive regardless. Right, let's look at the questions. Remember, if you want to ask a question, just stick a Q before the question, just so I can pick it out nice and quick. Excuse me. Hi Mark, have you tried using it with Logic Pro? No, I haven't. I have used it with Final Cut Pro, so I've used it to edit a video, not the entire video, but most of it. And yeah, just using this screen sharing thing. And it's great. It means you've got this great big window, great big timeline. Fantastic. Logic Pro, I haven't tried on this, but it would be the same thing. There's no native apps at the moment for those two apps. So there's no native Vision OS, Final Cut Pro, or Logic Pro. You have to use it on your Mac. Take your display off the Mac, put it into Vision OS land, and use it like that. But just the fact you can have this massive display does make a difference. If you can put up with the weight of this. On that note, we're 42 minutes in. I think, is this the longest I've worn it? We're coming on for it. I think the longest I've worn it is probably around about here, 40-minute mark-ish. I've not worn it beyond here for this long continuously. Because I've been using it, testing it, taking it off, doing stuff and what have you. But we're now into unknown territory when it comes to levels of comfort. Also, battery life, 81%. That's not bad, is it? So we've been live streaming for 42 minutes. Yeah, 81% remaining. And it was at 100% before I started. But comfort-wise, yeah, I can really still feel it on my cheekbones. One thing I was getting when I was testing the Solo Knit band was... Have I lost my mouse pointer again? It's gone again. Brilliant. I'll sort that in a second. So the Solo Knit... Is that... Yeah, the Solo Knit band, which just goes around the back of your head. I found that I got a numb head. So everything above the knit band and between that and the headset, this part here went numb. Really strange sensations. If I scratched my head, I couldn't feel it. So I took it off immediately at that point. I don't get that on this with this strap. This is a much better strap, but that was quite frightening. Oh, no, the mouse pointer's back. Brilliant. I keep getting a message that says input temporarily not working. Just flashes up and then disappears. I assume that's related to that. It seems a lonely experience. How does Apple improve that and sell millions? It is a lonely experience. It's two things. It's a lonely experience and it's a weird experience. There's no getting around from it. If you saw someone walking around the street wearing this, can we just talk about that for a minute? So lots of people, not lots, a few people have asked me to walk around a UK shopping centre or grocery store wearing this. We have places like Morrison's, Tesco's, Sainsbury's. I'm not doing it, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. The main reason I'm not doing it is because it's borderline suicidal. What these people who are doing these videos where they're walking around towns and stuff and crossing roads don't tell you and don't show you is the fact that the field of view on this isn't that wide. So I'm looking directly at you now. I can see, if I move my hands, I can see them there. They're gone now. I can't see either of my hands. Now, I'm not going to cross a road like that. Sorry. I can see the goggle. I can see the outline of the goggles. The hands have gone. This isn't made for walking around in public. It just isn't. And I understand, you know, I'm a content creator. We're all about the clicks and the views and all the rest of it. But I understand why some people have been making those videos. But it's time to stop that now, because this is not designed for that. It's designed for this, to sit here at a desk, on a plane seat, on a train, in bed, wherever you might be. But please be static. I needn't say anything about driving, because obviously not. I've lost my train of thought now. But coming back to the lonely experience thing. So it is lonely, I suppose, but I think it's only lonely if you stay in it too long. I don't feel lonely now, for instance, because you're all here. I'm talking to you. I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm live on YouTube. But it would get lonely if I kept using it, I suppose. How do they improve that? I don't think you can, apart from getting it to the point where it's this, which is many, 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 many years away. Because look at the size difference. You see what kind of innovation's got to happen from taking this to this. We're probably a decade away from that. I don't think they're going to fix the loneliness thing. But like I said, it doesn't feel lonely if I'm doing tasks like this, or tasks where I want to be lonely. If you want to be lonely and get on with a piece of work, that's obviously fine. A few people here watching this on Vision Pro. Watching on Vision Pro, which I can't get my head around that. I don't know what we're doing to the internet with that. Do it for the team. Is that walking around a shopping? I'm not doing it. I just can't. I really can't do it. Sorry. Where are we? So many questions, guys. Thank you. If I miss your question, I'm really sorry. There are just so many questions here. I thought I'd have a lot of questions about this. Has Mark tried rescanning his persona using Vision OS Beta 1.1? So if you didn't see this, my first attempt at doing the persona, so this is when you're setting up Vision Pro, you get to the point where you can set up your digital persona. The reason that you do this is because if I undertake a Zoom call or a FaceTime call with this, the people who are on the other end of that call, they don't want to see this, because why would you? They need to see me with my real eyes. So what Apple does is it beams a virtual version of me onto their screen. The way it does that is that when you're setting up Vision Pro, you take the headset off and you turn it to face your face, and it asks you to do a few things. So it says, move your head up, move it down, move it left, move it right, smile, raise your eyebrows. And then it says, all done. You put it back on, and it creates from those images and that footage, it creates this digital persona, which is supposed to look like you. And to be fair, it looks fairly realistic. It just looks a bit weird. The first version I did of this, it came out with I had a big thing sticking out of my head. I did it sat here, to be fair, so it was quite dark. It wasn't the best setting for it, but yeah, this weird thing sticking out of my head. I did redo it this morning, and it looks a bit better. The only problem now is that I've got a permanently raised right eyebrow. And I did it 3 or 4 times, and it's still there. So I've always got this eyebrow slightly raised, which again just looks a bit weird. The best thing about this is that, if you weren't aware, I was on BBC Radio Scotland this morning talking to one of the Loose Women. And Loose Women, before you say anything, is a programme in the UK. I've forgotten her second name. Kay Adams was the presenter. And I don't think she knew that I was going to appear on FaceTime wearing this, but I did. And the first thing she said to me was, please take this the right way, but you have creeped me out straight away. What that says about digital personas, I don't know. But yeah, so again, and in fairness, that is beta. It is that. It's clearly marked as that, so we can forgive them that, I think. Rob has just mentioned that the front display depth effect is a lenticular coating or lens or something they use. It just makes it look like there's some depth in here, even though there isn't. But it has that not offset. It has that kind of downside of having a very dark and low resolution image. Here we go, some rumour stuff. I think Gurman said V2 of the Pro expected in about 18 months. Waiting for a non-pro version, but that might be a while off. Yeah, I get the impression we're not going to see any update to this in terms of hardware for a little while. I think they're just going to keep iterating iterating Vision OS, and also get this out to the rest of the world. You know, there needs to be a UK launch, a Canadian launch, and a rest of the world launch. I think those two are coming next, from what Gurman is saying. But it's a little way off. And again, that gives you an idea of the roadmap for this, how long it is. We're miles off this becoming affordable for everyone and, you know, not weird, basically. We're a long way off. What other questions have we got here? Jig Space, that is the name of the app that I was talking about, where I put the F1 car in my living room. Really, really impressive. Apparently the front glass is laminated, but on the outside, does it feel like plastic or glass? Very good question. Nothing happens when I press it, does it? No. It does feel like glass. No, it doesn't. It feels like plastic. It feels a bit more plastic. It's somewhere in between. It's more plasticky, I think, than glass. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, more plasticky. It's an absolute magnet for smudges as well. And quickly on that note, you do get a Vision Pro branded Apple polishing cloth. And according to the manual, you must not, on pain of death, clean this thing with anything else apart from this. And it says somewhere on here, Vision Pro, where is it? I was so excited about getting this because I never bought the polishing cloth. Me struggling to find Vision Pro on this gives you an idea of how unimpressive the pass-through is at times on this. I can't even see it. Anyway, it says Vision Pro on there somewhere, and you have to use this to wipe it, otherwise something happens, something terrible happens. Zach says it feels like glass. I think it feels like plastic a little bit. I've lost the mouse pointer again. Brilliant. It'd been a while, hadn't it? Let's disconnect and reconnect. Sorry, guys. Actually, I'm not sorry, because this is probably amusing. And it's good feedback, isn't it? You know, I'm probably saving you a lot of money here if you were thinking about buying it. Particularly if you were thinking about buying it in the UK and shipping it over, which wasn't cheap. Have I recorded any spatial video on it? Yes, I did. I did it live. I did it during the unboxing, and that was the only bit of spatial video that I tested. It was impressive. So I did a thing where I was walking around with my camera, and the camera was very 3D on the playback. It was kind of sticking out at me. The rest of the video had depth, not like overwhelmingly amazing depth, but it was definitely more immersive than a regular video. So I just need to spend more time testing that, really. Check in on the battery. Where are we? We have 75%. Battery seems fine, to be honest. Comfort-wise, I'm looking forward to taking this off. I'll put it that way. It's starting to get, not irritating, it's just there. It's really there. That's the best way to describe Vision Pro. Have I lost the mouse again? Please don't. I've lost the mouse again. It's when I go into the control center that seems to mess up the mouse pointer thing. Let's go back in. They need to fix this, don't they? This bug must be at the top of their list, surely. Right, we're back. Wish we had a screen mirroring to see this. I'm sorry, guys. I wish you had that as well. I'll look into that next time if I do another one of these. There's another question here about Quest 3. I'm afraid I don't have a Quest 3 to compare, so I can't say. There are some very good videos. I've not watched them. I'm saying they're good. They may not be, but I'm sure they are. From other people that have done that comparison between the Quest and Vision Pro, but I can't comment on it, I'm afraid, because I haven't got one. I might be getting one. This is a great question. Would you rather spend $3,500 on a MacBook Pro or $3,500 on Vision Pro? I'd much rather spend it on a MacBook Pro. If I needed something to do stuff on, I'd get a MacBook Pro. Working exclusively in Vision OS feels incredibly foreign. It's very not a strange experience. It's just a fiddly experience because all of the way that you move, apps around, and the fact that you have to be a very good touch typist, because although you can just about see your keyboard, particularly if you want to be immersed in one of those environments, you have to know what you're doing with the keyboard without looking at it. I've tried a little bit to do some file management and regular. One thing I did do is for each video that I publish on Marketplace Reviews, the final stage of it is for me to watch the video through and just make a note of the chapters. And the way that I do that typically is I have the video over here on my Mac, video over here, and a note open here with my description template. And I just watch it and fill in the chapter markers. Really straightforward stuff. On a Mac, I could do it with my eyes closed. Not ideal, but I could do. I tried to do that on Vision Pro, and I got it done, to be fair. I was sat on the sofa, I had this massive window with my video playing, I had the note on the left-hand side, and it looked amazing. It looked incredibly impressive, but it took me ages to type in the notes, because I was typing in time stamps and stuff, and it was just very fiddly. I was using the built-in keyboard on Vision OS, so if you're not aware, you get a keyboard pop-up, 2 ways of interacting with it. You can reach out and touch the keys, or you can look at them with your eyes and do the whole pinch thing and select them. Both of those ways takes a long time, and particularly the reaching out thing, it's relatively impressive, but you can get yourself in a bit of a mess. Yeah, so, but going back to your question, MacBook Pro. This will not replace the Mac for a long time. It's a very good companion for it, put it that way. Let me have a quick glass drink of water. I don't really have a stop time for this, guys, today, unless the battery runs out. And it is 10:30 at night, and I do need to get some sleep at some point. But this is a good question. How long do you wear those before you start feeling it? Well, this is a great example, actually. So I'm now 55 minutes in. I'm really feeling it now. The pressure on my cheekbones is a bit irritating now. It doesn't get hot, that's one thing to mention. It doesn't get hot on your face. When it's doing stuff which is particularly intensive, like that jig stuff, you can hear it's got fans. There's 2 vents up here. I think there are vents actually all the way around. You can hear the fans spin up a little bit, and you can feel the warm air ejecting itself. Not enough to make you hot, but it's there. But the actual headset itself doesn't feel hot, if that makes sense. But in terms of feeling it, I'm really feeling it now. I am. It's starting to get a bit uncomfortable. I bet you guys are loving this, aren't you? How long will it take him to rip it off and throw it through the window? Is a good question. Hi from the land of Down Under. Wow, you're tuning in from all over the place, you guys. I love it. With the virtual keyboard, can you swipe type like on an iPhone? No. Unfortunately not. Let me just try it. I don't think you can. If I go into a note, I've got the keyboard here, by the way. No, you can't. It doesn't work. It does not work at all. How do I get rid of the keyboard? Here we go. No, afraid not. That would be quite cool, though. Would it? It might be fiddly, to be fair. It might be a fiddly thing. I think I've answered this already, Daniel, but yeah, is the field of view tight? It's definitely worth mentioning again, very tight. I'll just do that if you missed it earlier, the demonstration, so I can see my hands now, still see them, and they've gone. Can't see them at all. No peripheral vision there, still none there, none there, none there, none there, none there, none there. Can see them now. That's how tight the field of view is. Very tight, which is why you shouldn't walk around with them in public. I've got a real problem with that, haven't I? It's not because those people got their videos out before me and got millions of views, obviously. You can't see what I'm doing with my eyes, can you? It's probably for the best. Love it. I'm not sure what you love. It's probably not this video, but huge respect for you doing a live with this. I'm not sure if respect is the right word. Stupidity is probably one of the words I'd use. For this entire live, I really have... I know you can't see this, and this isn't a... People used to go down the mines, as they say. People used to have really tough jobs. I'm not moaning about this at all, but for this entire live stream, I have had to deal with the entire interface going like that because I'm talking at the same time. Again, didn't they? They must have tested this. Someone in those Vision Pro meetings must have sat there and said, Tim, mate, when I talk, everything jiggles around. What? Was he the same guy who raised the coffee complaint? I don't know. Maybe we should just stop talking and drinking coffee. This is a very good question as well. Is the battery cord annoying you yet? No, it's not really. But that's probably the least annoying thing about Vision Pro. It's weird. It looks weird, doesn't it? And again, it doesn't look very Steve Jobs, this, does it? Would he be happy about this? Won't go there again. No, it's not that annoying, to be honest. It's just there. And once it's behind your head, you kind of forget it's there. And if you do that, it looks like it doesn't exist. I guess that's what they're doing in the marketing material. Questions. Can you wear AirPods Max over them? I've not tried that. Oh, let's try it. Hang on, where are my AirPods Max? Let's try my AirPods Max. The cable was a bit annoying then. Here they are. I'm going to have to do it, aren't I? I'm going to throw it through this Vision Pro window. That was weird. Right, okay, AirPods Max. I've got noise cancelling on, so I can't hear anything. There we go. It's off now. Hasn't killed the live stream, has it? Hopefully not. I wouldn't put it past AirPods Max. Yeah, that works. Does it? How does it look? This is the future. One day, guys, you could all look like this. Imagine sitting in your house with your family, your mates, whatever. They look over to where you're sitting and they see this. What do you reckon? I don't know where to go with that. But this is 2024. I'm going to have to take these off. Sorry, not because they're uncomfortable, just because it's a bit strange listening to... Well, I'm not listening to anything, but hearing myself talk through transparency mode, which is very good on the AirPods Max, but I want as few distractions as possible during this live stream. Where are we time-wise? 10:30 and 1 hour in. Yeah, the cheek thing's a problem. The cheek thing is definitely a problem. Brian says, what are your thoughts on people returning the Apple Vision Pro and not waiting for better software updates and app releases? What are my thoughts on that? I don't blame them, really. I think Apple does have this very generous, pretty much no questions asked, 14-day return policy. People, I guess you can take advantage of it, can't you? Absolutely. But because of that, people are going to use it, aren't they? And I think given that this is such a unique thing, you have no idea how you're going to react to it. And you certainly have no idea how you're going to feel about it after a week. 3 days. I've only had this for three or 4 days. I still don't really know what I think about it. A lot of it is surprising in not the best way. Some of it is surprising in a great way. So I'm not surprised that people are doing this. In terms of waiting for better software updates and app releases, I don't think that's the issue. I think the bugginess and the things that it doesn't do at the minute, which would be nice, I think we can all agree that stuff will get fixed and those things should hopefully come. I think the biggest issue that people are having with this is just the size of the weight of it, rather, the uncomfortableness, those reflective, things behind things. Brain's going now. This is going to get very interesting, isn't it? Those reflective glass elements that I'm looking into. It's more hardware related, and that isn't going to be fixed. This is as it is now for it could be another 2 years, possibly. Who knows? So I don't blame them, really. I mentioned this recently in a blog post that I don't think Apple will be surprised either. They were probably expecting a high return rate for this. Although I'm fairly sure the reports are saying that the return rate is only above average. It's not as bad as being you could kind of deduce from the headlines. But that's headlines for you. Traditionally VR headsets like lighter rooms. Yeah, I get that. That's fair enough. But again, it shows where this technology is in terms of making it easy to live with. Lots of Quest 3 questions. Sorry, guys, I have not used the Quest 3, so I can't comment on that, I'm afraid. But I am looking into getting one. I wish Apple put controllers in the box for Vision Pro. You see, that's one thing I don't agree with that, actually. Having owned this for a few days now, the one thing I don't feel that I'm missing is controllers of any kind. The whole pinch, I won't do it now, but the whole pinch thing and the moving stuff around with your hand is very, very intuitive, as is the eye tracking. The eye tracking is amazing. When you first experience that, you move your eyes around and it selects things that you're looking at, and it's so fast and so accurate. It's genuinely mind-blowing. It very quickly normalizes, but that plus the hand gestures that you use feel very natural. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on controllers. But maybe there's a reason. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason we should have controllers one day. Let's have a look. What other questions we got here? Someone's talking about a stylus. We don't need a stylus for Vision Pro, do we? Surely not. How well does the hand sensitivity and latency feel compared to the Quest? I'm afraid, guys, I haven't got a Quest, so I can't compare. But hand sensitivity and latency, there doesn't seem to be any, actually. When you press things and do stuff, it's immediate. It's very Apple in that regard, in terms of the responsiveness. I've just realised my MacBook isn't charging. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? Why is my MacBook charging? Because it's not plugged in. Brilliant. Awesome, you are seeing one hell of a live stream today, guys. Let me plug my MacBook in, because it would be very ironic that the thing that loses this live stream or destroys this live stream is the MacBook Pro battery. That was very close, wow. Oh God, hang on. That would have been funny, wouldn't it? Yeah, but in terms of it, it's very Apple-like in how responsive it is. It feels very smooth, apart from the little bugs and things, little niggles, it's very, very smooth. So that isn't really an issue. What other questions have we got here? Quick check-in on the comfort after how long have we been doing this? 1 hour, 5 minutes. I'm well beyond the maximum time I've been using this for, so we're into completely unknown territory now in terms of the comfort, and it's not comfortable now. It's not to the point where I want to rip it off, but I trust me, I will be glad when this comes off my face. I really will. I really will be glad. That's how I feel at the moment. Eye tracking will get old quick. It doesn't really get old quick. It just becomes very normal very quick, and that's not a bad thing. It's like multi-touch on the iPhone. We all got used to that very quickly. You know, the jog wheel on the iPods made sense very quickly. It was cool, and then it was like, oh yeah, okay, well that makes sense. It's a bit like that, really. I find this interesting. I'll never get an Apple Vision Pro, but it's still very interesting. That's why I got this. It was a bit of a risk, as is everything in business. But the reason I invested in this is because, and it is an investment in content, and that's the way I treat these review units that I buy, is that I do think people have a genuine interest in this. I think the fact that I've managed to keep well over 100 people's attention, presumably, unless some of you have just left this live stream running and gone to bed, I don't blame you, but let's assume you haven't done that. The fact I've kept you going for 1 hour and 6 minutes, I've been sat here, you've not seen my eyes for this entire live stream. I've never published any video content where you can't see my eyes, apart from one video where I was wearing sunglasses because I had some eye infection. But apart from that, this is the longest I've ever published content without you seeing my eyes, and that's a key part of human connection. Imagine if I did this all the time, yet for some reason, and I love you for it, you stayed on this long, and I think that illustrates how interested people are in this. Something else to mention that I've just noticed and that you can't ignore is this reflection. That's my key light. Can't get rid of it because you need to see me. Yeah, you do need to see me. This is a very, very reflective front display, and that plays havoc with those minion eye things. That makes them even harder to see. So yeah, just worth noting that. What's your storage size and why? I went for the 256 gig version because I needed to order this very quickly to get it as quickly as possible, and it was just the quickest one to get. It was just the first option. And also, if you know me, you know that I do tend to buy the base version of a lot of things just to see what you get for your money. I buy 256 gig Macs quite regularly and never run out of space on them, to be honest. My MacBook Pro isn't that. I have 2 terabytes in that because it's a production machine. But generally speaking, I buy the smallest amount of storage going, and yeah, well, that's the reason, really. Oh, this is getting heavy now. This is getting heavy now. Is this an explanation for the reflective stuff? Light reflects between the lenses stacked onto each other. That's possibly what it is, Jeremy. I don't know what's going on in here, but there are reflections. I can see them now. If I move my head around, I can see reflections. It's a bit annoying. Are you excited for third parties to make some new accessories, which is inevitable, like new head straps and cable management? Yeah, I love accessories. If you watch my YouTube channel, you know I'm a big fan of accessories, and I love what third parties do. There's always something that an accessory maker will do which you'll think, why didn't Apple do that? Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do. There's some very interesting cases now that have already kind of been put onto the market. So yeah, cable management, that'd be interesting. Head straps, great idea. Let's do something with this. Let's make this even more comfortable if we can. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens with that. What other questions have we got here? This is a good one. Was it worth selling your kidney for Vision Pro? No. I wish I hadn't done that. No, I didn't really do that. But I did spend a lot of money. If you didn't know, I bought this. I live in Leamington Spa. Unless you're based in the UK, you'll have no idea where that is. We're north of London, basically, just in a place called Warwickshire. Irrelevant. I live in the UK, so I couldn't buy this in the UK, obviously. So I had to buy it from the States. We had it shipped from the Apple, where it comes from in the States or China, wherever, to Arizona, and then it went from Arizona across the Atlantic Sea to Leamington Spa, and the total cost for that, with everything, was £3,600 and something UK pounds, which isn't bad because I think when it comes over here, it's probably going to be a like-for-like switch in terms of the US dollars to GBP. That tends to what Apple tends to do these days. So if that is the case, I've probably spent maximum 200 quid in terms of a premium to get it early. However, a lot of that fee was made up of the import duty. So I paid about 560 quid, I think, in import and VAT and stuff to get it across the Atlantic Sea. And yeah, just bear that in mind if you're going to do what I did. When they make one like a Daft Punk helmet, I'll buy it. This is the best comment so far, and if anyone made anything that looked like a Daft Punk helmet and it did something, in fact, it wouldn't even have to do. Why not just buy a Daft Punk helmet? But if it did that, if it did this stuff and it made you look like one of the two members of Daft Punk, oh, why didn't they do that? What a brilliant idea! That, I guess the person who came up with that idea in the meeting was probably the coffee guy, the guy who mentioned the jiggling. He probably went ages ago. Bless him. How long does the battery take to charge using the supplied adapter? I've not timed it, I'm afraid, Graham, but I haven't timed it. I've got no answer for that, sorry. It seems to charge relatively quickly, though. Oh, this is interesting. Rob knows a lot of stuff, so I tend to listen to what Rob says. PSA, the reflections aren't reflections. They're refractions in high contrast situations, i.e. white text on black backgrounds due to the pancake lenses. There you go. That's what it is. Really annoying, Rob. I don't like it. It does spoil the experience quite regularly. It's not your fault, Rob. Just letting off a bit of steam there. Does the Vision Pro get uncomfortably warm? I think I've mentioned this already. No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel warm now. So I've been wearing it now for 1 hour and 11 minutes. When I say the amount of time, it makes it feel worse. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a mental thing. No, it doesn't feel warm now at all. It's, in fact, that the entire oh no, it's warm. It is warm. It's a bit warm now, but it doesn't feel warm, if that makes sense. I'm not sweating or anything. I've got a great big light on me as well, and yeah, that's one thing about it. Do notifications work like iPad and macOS? For example, when a new iMessage is similar, yeah. So at the top of the screen, you get a little circular app icon, depending on what the notification relates to, and you just go there, you tap it, and it shows you the notification. So it works very similar, and you get most of the notifications that you get on any of your iCloud devices. So if you're logging into another device and you get the two-factor authentication, that comes up in Vision Pro. So yeah, it's very, very, very similar. Different but similar, familiar, basically. Oh wow, this is getting heavy now. There is no public roadmap for Vision Pro. Well, there's never a public roadmap for anything Apple does. We always have to remember that. I think people get a bit carried away with rumours and things. I've done it myself, but yeah, we don't know what they're going to do with this. We don't know what their ultimate goal is. We are saying, I keep saying they want to get it like this. Maybe they don't. Maybe they have another plan. That's what's so interesting about this, to see what they do with it. Right. Do the lenses fog easily? I've not had that problem. I've not noticed them fogging up at all. They've not fogged up at all while I've been doing this. It's just that jiggling, which is annoying. Someone's watching this in the MetaQuest 3 in immersed. So you're watching this on your MetaQuest 3, and I'm doing this on Vision Pro. I don't know what we're doing to the internet by doing that, but I love it. Martin says, have you had a FaceTime call with others yet? So yeah, so I did my interview on BBC Radio Scotland this morning, and that was via FaceTime. I scared the life out of my girlfriend when I first got this, because she was upstairs doing some work, and I thought, let's give it. I'd just done that scanning thing and had this weird thing sticking out of my head on my digital persona, so I thought, let's just give her a ring. And the first thing she said was, I'm only upstairs, why are you FaceTiming me? At that point, I hadn't appeared, and then I appeared, and her reaction was something like, oh, what have you done? It is weird. It's very uncanny valley, I think a lot of people are saying. Here's a completely random question. Is your car fixed yet? Good knowledge. Yeah, so my M2 needs a new diff after 10,000 miles. It hasn't been raced. It hasn't been ragged. It's a very odd problem. BMW are paying for the part because it's so strange. So no, it's being fixed at the start of March. It's being booked in then. Lovely little question. That totally nothing to do with Vision Pro, but my first child is going to be fixed. A couple of minutes of watching this, and in my humble opinion, this will never be a thing. What on earth does this offer? I sort of get it for immersive gaming, which is not an Apple strong point. Very good point, that latter point, definitely. A couple of minutes is all you needed to form that opinion. That's absolutely fine. It's your opinion. I still haven't formed an opinion on this, and I've had this strapped to my face, well now, for an hour and 16 minutes, but I've had it for a few days, and I still haven't formed that opinion. But again, this is why I find this thing so interesting. It sparks stuff like this, which is fascinating. How nice of you to think of Canada. Oh, I love Canada. It's a lovely place. This is getting heavy, guys. How much longer can I do this? I'm tired as well, so this doesn't help, does it? I'm probably not doing myself much good here. It's 10 to 11 at night in the UK. There's still 117 of you watching. It's been that number for an unbelievably long time. It hasn't dipped below 100 for ages, which I can't believe. Thank you. You're all amazing. I can't believe you're watching this. When I stop and think what I'm doing, maybe I shouldn't do that, because if you all stop and think what you're doing now, you'll probably just close the browser and go and do something more meaningful. But no, I can't believe you're still watching this. You haven't seen my eyes for this entire... You will, I promise I'll take it off. It might be relatively soon, to be honest. Right, let's get a few last questions in. Oh no, this is bad news. Sorry to tell you, but the cloth that came with the headset is actually completely different to the one that you can buy. Really? I was so happy about that. So it's not the $20, 20 quid, 30 quid, whatever it is, polishing cloth. What is it then? It's just a Vision... Is it not as good as the other one? That's possibly ruined my week. Thanks. It would have been better if it was made from plastics, AirPod plastic. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think they've made it from the right material. It's a very impressive bit of kit. It does feel like you're getting a lot for your money. Here's a good question. I can't answer this. Is Rob getting one imported too, or is he waiting until he has discount codes to get one half price? Rob will probably get one of these for about 300 quid, because he discount code stacks and somehow finds things incredibly cheap. Any motion sickness in there? I still don't feel sick. I just feel it's starting to feel very uncomfortable on my face now. I want to take this off now, if I'm being completely honest. But no sickness. I don't feel queasy at all. I just want to take this off my head. What else have we got here? The thing is, I want to keep answering these questions because they're really interesting. Whoa, no. One of the Max Tech guys wore it for 9 hours straight. 9 hours. I'm not doing that. For a second then I thought, I want to beat Max Tech. I love Max Tech. I love those guys. I saw them at CES. If you don't know, I had Vadim on the show on the 8 or 16. No, in fact, it was a video. It was a main video ages ago. He joined me and Rob actually. We had a good old chat about the M2 chip debacle. But I saw all of them at CES in Vegas in January, and we had a good chat, and lovely guys. But I do want to beat them. So should I just wear this now for 10 hours? Should we do a 10-hour? No, we're not going to do that. That would be stupid. 9 hours, my word. That is commitment, isn't it? Makes what I'm doing now far less impressive. Cheers, Max Tech. Can you see this in the long term and what for? Working on it seems painful. I need longer to form this opinion. I don't know at the minute. I just need it. I need to spend more time on it. I do have another video coming out on Wednesday, which is going to basically 6 things that I want Apple to change about this, but not immediately. It's stuff that I just feel after a few days with it are obvious changes that need making. But beyond that, I'm not sure. Let me have some water. Some lovely comments, guys. Thank you for leaving these lovely comments. So many questions. Sorry if I missed your question. I'm so sorry. It's just, one, it's quite hard to read them because of the jiggling, and 2, there's just so many of them. I haven't played any XR games yet. I've played no games on this whatsoever yet. Do you see yourself wearing Vision Pro on a daily basis 3 or 6 months from now once the novelty wears off? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I want to. I think, you know, again, I've invested in this and I see it as an investment in content. And because of that, I do need to make myself use it. I've just noticed that you can see some of my naughty treats there. This is to keep me going. Not sponsored. You probably didn't see what they were. But yeah, I just don't know. Again, need longer with it to make that decision. Make that judgment. How warm is the battery? No, it's warm. There's a bit of warmth there, but it's not uncomfortable. It's just a bit of warmth there. Let's leave that there for the minute. That's a very good question. What is remaining on the battery? 59%. So we've been going for 1 hour and 20 minutes. The main thing this has been doing is mirroring the Mac display. I've left that notes thing open over there, but it's not doing much more than that, to be fair. 58%. That's not bad, is it? I think that's okay. That bodes well. Has that lot? No, the mouse pointer's there. That's not bad, I don't think. You look like Ant-Man. Do I? I do a little bit, don't I? Don't sound like him, obviously. I'm the British Ant-Man. It looks like a lot of money. It does look like a lot of money. I agree on that. I read that it's mainly YouTubers returning. It probably is, to be fair. Get it, review it, send it back. Not that I've ever done that, obviously. God, there's so many questions, guys. Where do I end with this? Good point. Why can't we see your eyes? So you may have missed this at the start, Daniel, but I can only show you the googly eye thing if someone walks into the room. You can't turn it on otherwise. So I physically need someone else to be in the room, and there's no one here. I'm in the studio on my own. This isn't my house, basically. This is a separate place, and I have no one here. I'm all alone. This is a very interesting question. Do you think there will be more enthusiasm for this in the UK when it's finally released than in the States? No, I don't think it will be any different in that respect. I mean, obviously it's a smaller market here because it's a smaller country. I think what it will do when it is launched in the UK and Canada, which they're saying are going to be the next 2 regions to get it, I think that will, from my perspective, it will increase the interest again. There'll be a spike in interest and searches for Vision Pro. And also because I'll have had this by however long it takes to come out over here, I'll have had this for a while then. So I'll have a really nicely, hopefully, a formed opinion on what it's about. So that's part of the reason I've got it early, to hopefully help people with that. Some super thanks coming in, guys. You're way too kind. That always blows my mind when people do that. Thank you very much. That's funny. I used to live there, not anymore. Was that Leamington? In Leamington Spa. Interesting. You don't come across many people who live or have lived in Leamington Spa. It's a lovely place, by the way. But does it hurt your eyes at all? It doesn't hurt your eyes. It just feels strange. Oh, someone else from Leamington. They're all coming in now. Brilliant. Have you seen many in the wild in Britain since it was so hard to ship over? No, although you don't. So this is, just very quickly, British people, we're a little bit reserved. And the thought of taking this out into public, I'm not saying that other countries aren't reserved, but we're particularly reserved. The thought of taking this out into public scares me to death. And I'm someone who regularly walks around filming himself. You know, I've kind of, that never normalizes, but I've kind of got used to doing that. Even I can't think of anything worse than taking this out of this room. and letting people see that I'm wearing it at all. So the likelihood of ever seeing this in public in Britain, apart from possibly in London, is very, very slim, even when it's released over here. So no, I'm not surprised I've not seen any. There was one video, I think, of a guy in London a week or so ago using it, but there's not been much since, I don't think. Oh, God. I'm going to have to take this off in a second, guys. There's so many questions. Zach, thank you so much for that. Super thanks. That's lovely of you. Let's answer your question. Have you tried music production on the headset? I see Moog, I always say Moog, it's Moog, are developing their apps to work in the headset. No, I haven't yet. I'm aware that there are some native Vision OS music production type apps, and that really excites me. But I will try them. Oh, wow. Okay, it's going to come off in a minute, guys. It's going to. I can't do 9 hours. I can only barely do 1 hour and 24 minutes. We've still got so many people watching. Oh, Niall's on board. My general manager, Niall, is here. Well, he was here. I guess he's fallen asleep. Don't blame him if he has. Right, I've reached the bottom so far of the chats. I'm going to have to take this off, I think. What's this? Very quickly, Doc, who was once on the, twice possibly, on the 8 or 16 podcast. Hi, Doc. Even so, Mark, this is part of another part. This sounds like it's come from part of another conversation. Mark seems to have mostly noticed the weight when asked and still had to take a moment to think about that, which I found interesting. I think I might be reading too much into that. No, I don't think you are. I think the weight thing is a problem. Right. Okay, we are now 1 minute, I wish. We are now 1 hour and 25 minutes in. Battery is at 56%, and I'm gonna take it off. I am gonna take it off. It's 5 to 11 at night now, so I'm tired anyway. Let's take it off, and you're gonna see my eyes for the first time, my real eyes, for the first time since starting this. I don't know what the world's gonna look like after I take this off. Oh my word, look at me. Look at the state of that. Oh. Okay, it's very bright in here. My Mac display looks so sharp now. It did not look as sharp as that in Vision OS land. Oh wow, I'm going to put my glasses on. Whew. That was hard work. It was actually me, yeah. Imagine if it wasn't me. Imagine if I had a twin brother or someone who looked roughly like me, just random bald guy. That would have. Oh, what a great idea that was. Why didn't I do that? Oh wow. That's the longest I've worn it, 1 hour and 26 minutes. So it got through nearly half the battery in that time, which I think is quite good actually. That's pretty impressive. The device itself. Fans aren't on. Sometimes you take it off and the fans are spinning. It's a little bit warm, but it's just the comfort. It's a really, really heavy device. Really heavy device. Stig moment. Not I wish. Again, going back to the picking it up thing, you do not pick it up with that because it just comes off. So if you get a Vision Pro, please don't do that. Just you pick it up like that. Oh, wow. Any other questions, guys, before I sign off? Has this been interesting? It's felt like the weirdest thing I've done as part of this channel. One of the most amazing things, but one of the weirdest things I've done. Well, this is a very relevant question. Do you miss using the product when you aren't immersed in it? I think this is a really interesting question. Again, they're all interesting questions, but this is particularly important, I think, because it's saying, when you take this thing off, do you miss it? I suppose, do you want to put it back on? No. I think with what I found with Vision Pro during these very early days is that you have enough of it. You absolutely have enough of it. And when you take it off, you don't think, I want to get back in there straight away. As amazing as the immersion is when you go into those environments, you have enough of it. I've got a bit of a headache now. That might just be because I've been working all day and this is an unusually long day because of the live stream. But you definitely have enough of it. I'm happy not to use this now for another 24 hours. Trust me. I might feel different in the morning, who knows. But It's a real the best way to describe Vision Pro. I think if you go and try it on in an Apple store and they do the demo for you and you're wowed by it, that is when you're going to buy it. I think, but you're going to buy it based on using it for what, maximum 30 minutes maybe. I can't remember how long the demo is. When you actually get one of these and you live with it, it's an overwhelming experience for so many reasons, and that will account for a lot of those returns. So really think carefully, guys, about whether or not you can stomach this, particularly given how expensive it is. It's very, very expensive. Right, let's do the last few questions, and I will have to love you and leave you. Zach has had it on for about 5 hours straight. Wow. How do you feel, Zach? He's followed it. So for some reason you find it quite comfortable, even using the solar back. So you're using, where have I put it? You're using this one, which I find uncomfortable. Fair play to you. Fair play to you, Zach. Live football coverage would be my point of entry. Yeah, I've not experienced any sport on this. I saw someone. I think it might have been a mocked-up thing, but someone showed what an F1 race could look like. So they had like the main several screens with all the different cars and the main track, and then in front they had like an overview, like a bird's eye view of the track and where the cars were at any given time. That looked very cool. Again, it looked cool. Would I want to experience one of my favourite sports like that? I don't know. I'm a big football fan. Would I want to experience football in this? I don't know. But I'd love to try it. Imagine trying to watch a Lord of the Rings film on it. That could be a great experience. Yeah, it could be. Do you find the lens flare near the bottom too distracting in dark environments? Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been referring to, actually. It is distracting. Not terribly so, and it's not always there, but it's definitely there. What's Niall? Let's bring Niall on. Do you think that the future will see an Apple Vision Pro stand by the front door, like an old-fashioned hat stand, but for VR headsets? I love that. So the idea that you leave your house, let's unplug this, and that is hanging up by the door along with your car keys, and you just grab that, or grab your dog, walk, you lead for your dog, and out you go. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know who I am anymore. Maybe. Again, I still think it's going to this. I think you'll be wearing them already, personally, whatever it happens to be. Okay, let's finish on this because it's got nothing to do with Vision Pro, and why not? I support, in terms of football teams, I'm a bit boring really. It's not boring. I support where I come from, which is Northampton. I'm from Northampton, which is, again, you've probably never heard of it. Very unremarkable place. I can say that because I'm from there. Yeah, I support Northampton Town. I used to be a season ticket holder there. I'm not anymore. Haven't been there for many years, but they will always hold a small part in my place in my heart. I need to stop now, don't I? It's been a long time. Go to bed. I will, Niall, promise. When's the next 8 or 16 podcast? It's going to be this weekend, guys. We had a break because of this, but yeah, we're coming back on the weekend. Guys, thank you so much for doing this. I can't believe a lot of you have been here for the entire duration, which is just amazing. Thank you. I hope it was interesting. I may do another... do you want me to... Let me know. Put it in the comments. I can see all the comments after we finish this. So let me know if you want me to do more live streams with this. There will be more video content, main video content on Vision Pro on the way. But yeah, I hope that was insightful. I hope I've either saved you money or... well, I hope I've saved you money. You may not want to buy this now. If you do want to buy it because of what I've shown you, equally fantastic. I'm rambling now. I'm going to stop. So thank you guys for getting involved. Yeah, wait for Wednesday. We've got another video coming on this thing, which should be interesting. And if you have, I should have said this ages ago. If you've enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. It makes a massive difference for the channel. And if you're watching this and you watch the channel quite regularly and you haven't subscribed, give me a subscribe, please. Again, it makes a massive difference. And if you're already subscribed, you're brilliant. I love you. Thank you, guys. I'm going to end the stream now and catch you on the next one, whenever that is. Thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Cheers.